So grab a seat, gather around. We're going to have a little fun around the campfire. I am deciding to just continue on with these kind of videos because I'm getting just incredible emails and comments from you guys, and you guys are being very vulnerable and sharing your real stories about what's happening in your lives. And most importantly, how these simple videos I'm putting up are just really resonating with you and just providing you with hope or insights or something. And it's really connecting us on a much deeper level than we ever have connected on with my content and everything that I've done. So my heart's telling me, just keep going. We'll see where this goes. If you want to go get content about sync licensing, I know that's been primarily what I've been talking about on this channel. I still have those 400 or so videos on my YouTube channel. So feel free, go back, look at anything you want to. We've covered tons of topics. I'm sure you haven't watched all of them. So there's tons of stuff for you to dive into. You will probably never get to the bottom of it. There's a lot there. But right now, this is where I am. This is where I think we are. And this is where I feel compelled to just keep going forward. Okay. Today, I want to talk about forgiveness and how that has been the monumental theme of my life for the last 5 or 6 days. Also, by the way, I don't know how consistent I can be with videos right now because I'm personally going through a lot, and I will try to be as consistent as I possibly can. I don't think that I can commit to do a video every single day. I just have a lot that I'm going through. It's all good. Don't worry about me. I'm doing very well. But my priorities right now are obviously on myself and my family and my relationships. So there might be some days where I really have to give that all of my attention and focus, and I won't be able to do a video. So I'm just asking you guys to be patient with me. I will put up videos as often as I possibly can. And what I'm doing now is I'm not pre-recording videos. Like that's what I used to do on my channel. I would record a video or 4 or 5 videos and just have them for later. And when you watch these videos, just know that, and I'll tell you if I change, but for right now, every video you watch like this is recorded the same day. Okay, so I think there's also something very good about that, not being disconnected from the time, that I post it from when I record it. So again, just trying a bunch of new things, and I think this is really great. But forgiveness, that's what I want to talk about today, and why forgiveness, as the title says, it is the destination for healing. It is the place that we need to go if we want to truly heal and be healthy and set ourselves free from pain and abuse and trauma and anything, addiction, you name it. Anything that you're going through, somebody else is going through as well. And this was something that I had heard before, that forgiveness was a way to actually get past these kind of things. But now that my life is being exposed to this, now that I'm going through this massive change that I was not prepared for, I'm starting to really understand what forgiveness is all about and why it's something that we should all be striving for, okay? It doesn't mean you get there right away. It's not an instant thing, but it should always be the destination. And so however long it takes you to get there, you take your time, you do what you need to do to get there, to forgive yourself and other people. We're going to talk about both. But just keep that in mind, that forgiveness, that's what I'm seeing right now, is the place to go. No matter what it is, no matter what the issue is, no matter where you're hurting, no matter who's wronged you, no matter who you've wronged, forgiveness, that's the ultimate place you want to go to, okay? So recently in my life, a lot of trauma, abuse, things that I've done to other people have been just surfacing. And it's really because of the coronavirus and just everything's slowing down. And when you are in a slower pace of mind and slower pace of life, you can become more present to how you really feel. And so right now, I know that there's a lot of people that are either feeling maybe like I'm feeling and embracing this and trying to get better and trying to heal and trying to do that. But I know that just as many people are probably medicating. I'm taking walks in my neighborhood, and it's sad to see, but I've never seen more beer cans being thrown away, or sometimes even just littered on the ground. And I'm seeing a lot. I've been seeing people also in their car popping open a beer as they're driving. So I know that on the flip side of this, there's a lot of hurt and a lot of medicating going on, a lot of running away from these really uncomfortable feelings. Now, I can't share with you guys, I'm not comfortable sharing with you guys the details of my story, trauma and abuse, because I'm currently working through it right now. So I don't think that'd be a smart idea for me to put that out there. I may do it in the future, I may not. It kind of depends on what I think is the right and healthy thing for me to do. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I've dealt with abuse. I've dealt with being wronged by people. I've wronged others. Not innocent, and I've definitely dealt with a lot in my life. And just because I can't tell you all the specifics right now, just know that they're heavy, heavy topics. Okay, just know that. And one thing that was coming to my awareness throughout all of this is how much I've been in my life coping, medicating, and distracting myself from the pain that I've been feeling. And just because I wasn't shooting myself up with heroin or snorting cocaine or doing meth or drinking alcohol, I'm not much of a drinker at all. Just because I wasn't doing the classical addiction things, I was deluding myself into thinking I didn't really have a problem and that I didn't really have pain because I was abusing things that were socially acceptable, that a lot of people do as well. And so I was sort of thinking like, well, I'm not like those broken people over here that have a real problem because they're hooked on drugs or they have alcohol problems. Yeah, I have these things that I'm not exactly happy about, but they're socially acceptable, either substances or behaviors that some people do. And so, no big deal. There's nothing really wrong. Again, that's a coping strategy. And so it helped me medicate myself, distance myself from the pain, get away from those really uncomfortable feelings and really uncomfortable conversations that I'm having with my family members and people that are really, really important to me. So that's what I realized is that, like, I just was lying to myself for years and years and years, most of my life, lying to myself. And things would happen in my life that would like re-trigger the trauma and the abuse, or a new form of abuse would come into my life, and then it would make me medicate again heavily. And the way that I knew that I deluded myself into thinking I didn't need help is because the things I was medicating with were fairly common in our society. Again, I'm sorry I can't share all these details, so this might seem really cryptic, and what is he talking about? But I just wanted to share with you my story as much as I possibly, and I think I can right now, in like a healthy place. Okay, so that's why I want to make sure you guys are aware. Forgiving others. One thing that's helped me forgive those that have done me wrong, who have either abused me, lied to me, deceived me, all that kind of stuff. One thing that allows me to get to forgiveness quicker, maybe than some people, is I'm always showing empathy for them first, right? So somebody who did something harmful or hurtful to me, the one phrase that keeps popping up to me is like, that wasn't really their original idea, right? I don't think it's possible that somebody just grows up in a really well-adjusted home without trauma or abuse, and then one day out of the blue just decides like, I'm going to go hurt somebody. Don't think that's really how it works. Could be wrong, but my gut tells me that's usually not what happens. From my research and what I've been looking into, it sounds like trauma and abuse usually is something that when you have it done to you, you tend to, a lot of times, or oftentimes, you will act it out and you will perpetrate it on the next person, on somebody else. Because, you guys know the classic case of the bully at school, right? Is the bully just this well-adjusted, happy kid that just one day decides to start picking on people, weaker than him? No, he's probably getting hit at home. He's probably got an abusive father or mother, somebody in the house, older brother, who is really, really hurting him. And for him to compensate for that he lost all that power, he then turns around and abuses somebody underneath him to get that power back. So again, you can look at just half the equation to say, well, that bully is a terrible person and he was hurting people and I'm not going to forgive him. That was awful what he did. But you got to look at the whole picture, right? There's another side of him that's a hurting, innocent child that was abused and had no tools or way to deal with that in a healthy manner. Just did what his brain basically, in some ways our brains just kind of like hijack us and take us for these rides. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it takes us down the ride of perpetrating the abuse, right? So that's what's helping me with the things that I'm trying to, the people that I'm learning to forgive and get to that point of forgiveness, is I always try to look at where was their innocence taken away, right? Where was their hurt initiated? Because we all started off innocent, and I think almost all of us have dealt with disappointment, pain, maybe abuse of some sort. And when you realize that that's like all of our story, then you can no longer kind of put people in categories and say, well, you're the people that I can't forgive. You're the kind of person that I can't do that. Because a big part of the flip side of all of that is I have to forgive myself, because I'm not perfect. I've wronged people. I've really wronged people. And that's still something that I'm working through right now, is how to forgive myself for that. And part of it is basically getting understanding for my history, for my experiences, or the trauma that I endured, growing up and into my, teens, 20s, and beyond. And learning to go back to that, like that little boy that I used to be, to say, like, at one point I had innocence. These weren't my ideas. This wasn't like an original thing that I just one day came up with, which kind of, that would sound like that would be sort of an evil thing to do. But instead, there was, like, what's helping me is just recognizing and admitting to myself that I just was hurting. I had a lot of pain. You guys know I've talked about, like, depression and anxiety, that I've suffered through those throughout my life. And those are, the soul kind of reaching out, going, like, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I never could quite put my finger and identify, like, why. I just couldn't escape. Some people always say that, like, I feel like I'll always be depressed. I feel like I'll always deal with anxiety. Sure, they would, the symptoms would go away and I wouldn't really deal with them as often. But, I had a little bit of that in my head too. I was just like, yeah, I just know that every couple of years I'll get this kind of dark cloud that just comes back, and that'll be it. And now I'm seeing why I felt that way is because I didn't want to, or maybe couldn't, maybe I wasn't even ready to, who knows, confront the real cause of what was really bringing back that depression and anxiety, and that just feeling of just sadness, pain, unsafety. All of that stuff was right there underneath the surface. And rather than take a good deep look at it, and even though I claim to be self-aware, all these years, I really wasn't. I really was not looking at where I needed to look, and instead I was distracting myself, medicating, sometimes even getting lost in my work, In some of those ways, like sync licensing became this drug for me as well, that it was just like, just work. Don't even think about it. Don't think about it. Don't do that. And as long as you stay productive, you guys have heard me say that a lot. Like, that's how I get through a lot of this stuff, has been just stay productive. You'll get through it. It'll help you. And then you'll be making, more money, and you'll have more music. So it's all great. So I'm questioning all that now. Like, I'm in a place of, like, that might have been my coping strategy. I'm glad that I had a coping strategy, right? That I didn't give into, suicide or darker substances or darker things that really could have ended my life. Literally, it's a miracle I'm not dead. So I'm thankful that music was always there and sync licensing was always there, to at least if I was going to cope in that way, it could keep me on some sort of a path of doing something productive and being useful to somebody, right? I'm really, really thankful for that. But I'm working on that. I'm working on how to forgive myself, and it's going to be a process. I don't, the one thing I'm also going through now is just, none of this is going to be a rush. You don't got to rush any of this stuff. You just take your time. You feel what you feel. A lot of time I find that going to sleep will reignite something. I'll remember something, or just like this new thing, like, this is something that I need to get off my chest, will come up. And so every morning I've been waking up and, like, just writing stuff down, having a little journal, writing these kind of things down. And I've been telling you guys, I'm getting these revelations. Those are what the revelations are. This is like, whatever you want to call that, my conscience, something is bubbling up, and it's like, you got to deal with that now. This is the thing you got to start talking about, And so I'm making a list, and there's a long list of stuff that I need to deal with, and I'm taking it. And that's why it's a priority for me right now, because I don't want to suffer anymore. I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to medicate anymore. I don't want to distract myself. I want to really actually live. I really want to be present to my own life. And so that's what I'm making a commitment to do right now. So a couple last minute thoughts there. Karma. Karma was a thing that I never believed in, because the way it was explained to me was that if you do something wrong, there'll be this kind of invisible force sort of following you around your whole life that floats around the universe. And one day it comes back and it hits you. And I now have an understanding of what I think karma is, which really makes sense. And I think it's true. It's not so much that this is like external force. It's one way to describe it, for sure, that there's this external force that's kind of keeping tabs of all the things you do, good and bad, kind of like a cosmic Santa Claus. But I think really what it is that when you hurt somebody else, you don't realize it, but you're actually hurting yourself. I think that's what karma is. I think you might not feel it right away. You might medicate it like I did. You might distract yourself from it, but it comes back with a vengeance. And oh my God, did it come back with a vengeance for me in the last couple of days. And so that's what karma is that you never There's no get out of jail free cards. Every wrong thing that you've done to somebody that you feel was something you should have not done, and you feel regret and sorrow for it, that's always going to be there. And so I'm just, I don't want to come across as preachy or tell anybody what to do, and please don't take that from this video, but just sharing with you guys my experience, the relief that I feel to just put that out and just to ask for forgiveness and start talking to people, and just knowing that I'm on a plan towards getting to the point where I want no skeletons in my closet. I want no guilt in my past. Like, no, not one person where I wronged or I did something bad to that I want to go to my grave still regretting that. Like, that's my mission right now. I want a completely clean conscience. It's going to take time, but I'm working on it, and that's why it's going to be a priority, as I said before. And last but not least, going back to forgiveness, that when we don't forgive, because I know there's a lot of temptation to do that, and I felt that, even remembering some of the things that people did to me, and I was just like, well, that person's just an asshole, and like, why would I forgive them? They ruined my life. I mean, they really put me down a path of like self-destruction and self-harm, self-sabotage. Why would I ever forgive that person? And the real reason is because, like, when you just don't forgive them, you are continuing to allow the pain to just sit in your chest and hold on to you. And it's going to be hatred and anger, but it's really just pain is what it is. And you're just not ready to let go of it. So I'm just desperate to let go of it. Like, that's where I'm at. I just want to let go of this. I'm tired. It's really worn me out. It's really drained me of energy for years, decades of my life. And this epiphany of forgiveness is the way to get past it, is a way to forgive, is a way to heal, find true healing, truly to reinvent yourself, to truly like feel like, I mean, right now, I have never felt the way that I felt before. I feel like I'm a kid again. That's what it feels like. I feel like this is what I felt like when I was innocent. Like lights are brighter, like colors are brighter outside. My hearing is enhanced. My sense of smell is enhanced. Everything feels good. I just feel good all day long. I feel like I'm radiating, like my heart's just radiating, just positive energy all day long. I really feel like I'm on some sort of a drug or something. It is this completely other existence that I'm in right now, guys. And you asked me a couple weeks ago, how do you feel? I'd be like, oh, I'm cool. I'm fine. I had no idea that like I was not feeling good. I was not feeling healthy. I was feeling broken and hurt, and I just didn't know what health felt like. And I'm on my way. I'm not there yet. I'm certainly not a guru. I'm certainly not an expert. I'm on my journey. That's where I'm trying to go right now and get this stuff figured out. So I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling, you've watched this video this far, and as I'm talking about my story in the limited way and detail that I can, if your story is bubbling up, please don't push it down. Please don't ignore it, and try to really live with it for a little bit. At least you don't have to go call anybody. You don't have to go do anything about it. Maybe just write some stuff down. Maybe just sit and meditate. Just become more present to how you're really feeling and what are the pressing issues that you really should be getting in touch with. I'm just telling you, the delicious fruit on the other side of that is so worth it. It's so worth it. And I wish I had seen this, years ago. I wish I didn't take as long as I did to get to this point. But on the flip side of that, I'm thankful that I did. I'm thankful that I still have many years in front of me with many more adventures. And I'm feeling this is like the start of a new life for me. So, yeah, with that being said, guys, that's what I want to leave with you guys today. Please, again, leave me your experiences, your comments, your ideas, your revelations. If something about this has really resonated with you and you're going to make some actions, just keep the conversation coming. I'm going to just keep doing this as long as I keep getting this kind of reaction from you guys. If you guys do come to me at some point and say, okay, Jesse, that was great, let's get back to sync licensing. Trust me, I will get us back to sync licensing in a second. I am here to be useful for you guys. Okay, that's what I'm here for. But for now, I think this is the path and the journey we need to go in, because I think even those of you that are pursuing sync licensing, this is a topic I'll get into for the future video, but I had a member who was saying that he had a great, just honest post about how he was feeling overwhelmed and he just didn't know if sync licensing would work for him. And even he put a phrase in there that said, I just don't know if this will work out for me. And all these reasons of like, the DAW, producing, mixing, and mastering is just very difficult for him and all this kind of stuff. And I just was like, you know what? Your real issue is just that one line. I don't think this could work out for me. Spend some time with that, because that's where it all begins, right? It all begins with, do you deserve happiness? Do you deserve to succeed? Do you feel that you deserve to get the things you want out of life? If you're not past that, if the answer isn't yes, maybe learning, producing, mixing, and mastering, like, that's not what you should be. I told him this. I said, maybe this is not what you should be spending your time on right now, because it's really more about getting a foundation of confidence, of like self-worth, and believing and knowing that you deserve this. I'm not inside your brain. Don't know what this member was really thinking, just reading his words and taking them for what they were. And same with you. Don't know what you're going through. But if you're dealing with that, and you've dealt with that most of your life, where you've tried a lot of things, nothing's really worked out, and you've always had that kind of self-sabotaging, like, I don't think I should, or you're afraid of success, maybe, there's that going on too. So many things going on. Maybe it's a good time right now with coronavirus to kind of like put down the DAW, put down the thing that you think you need to work on, and actually do a little bit more internal work, right? Spiritual work, therapy work, however it is that you feel that you can get help to do that. And I think if we quiet our minds enough, the answers usually come to us. Therapy does work, and getting somebody to reflect stuff for you, very helpful. And I would actually encourage it. I think it's a really good idea. But I do also believe that in many ways we are our own best therapists sometimes, that we just need to calm ourselves down, slow down, and just listen to whatever that voice is that tells us what we need to listen to. And you usually will find, and this is what I'm finding the last couple of days, it's like it just guides me. It just says, yes, this is the thing you need to work on today. You need to start working on this, or this is the person you need to reach out to and apologize to, or make amends to, or get closure with, or whatever that is. So whatever that voice that is in us, at least I hear it in myself, I trust it. And I'm starting to, like I said in that video last week, like I'm learning to trust myself and just trust what I'm feeling, trust really what I'm going through, and not just rely on somebody else's opinion, somebody else's take on it, but really go to what's my truth. What is this? What is the ultimate goal that my body, my brain, my heart, my soul is telling me to go to? And as you guys know now, it is all about forgiveness.